Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Darleen. Now, I'm so excited because I'm speaking to Marlene, and I actually know Marlene really well. So I was so blessed when she came on. And her company is Insight Spending Planners. Now, Marlene is a money management coach, certified spending planner, and the founder of Insight Spending Planners. Marlene specialises in supporting women with service-based businesses by giving them the skills and confidence to earn, look after, and grow their money so they can fulfill their purpose, enjoy better health and relationships, and grow profitable and sustainable businesses. Now, Marlene really believes that wealthy women can change the world for better. Yes. I have over 20, or Marlene has over 20 years experience using spending plans to successfully manage her own finances. And since 2016, oh, that was only yesterday, she has helped scores of women take control of their finances, achieve their goals, and eliminate money stress. Now, I just absolutely love Marlene, what she does, and absolutely everything. And on this talk today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the common financial challenges that business women face in their business, and also any tips that you actually have. So welcome, Marlene. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Darlene, for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Oh, you're welcome. And so let's just go straight into it. What are the some of the common threads that you actually find?
Yeah, I think, when women go into business, they really have a purpose. They want to make an impact. And I guess the financial side of it is the last thing that they're thinking about. In many cases, they don't know where their money is going. And to compound that, their business income is usually irregular. So that, there are the peaks and troughs, which makes it really difficult to manage. And often they're juggling money between their business and their personal finances and constantly putting out fires. So, they might have a bill that they come in, a personal bill comes in, they don't have the money, so they take money out of the business to pay the personal bill, and then vice versa. And they also lack confidence with money, I've found often. They are not sure about the funding they need to run their business, let alone pay themselves a regular wage. So there are a number of obstacles, I think, that women in particular face. And they don't tend to put much of a priority on finances. And, there are all the money stories that we grow up with that contribute to that. But I like to take a holistic view of finances. So as you said, I work mainly with women in business, and we look at their personal and their business finances because they're inextricably linked, really. We go into business to make a difference, but we also need to make money to fund, our lifestyle. And I think, sadly, a lot of women sacrifice their personal financial security to keep their business going. And, I'd obviously like to put a stop to
that. Okay, I need to work with you. And yeah, everything that you've said is like, and I know I'm generalizing here, but it's so true because we grew up with money stories. Now I grew up in a time where, you didn't talk about things, and we grew up poor. So all those money beliefs, like money doesn't grow on trees, I'm not made of money, blah, blah. And for me, then I got into a job. So I never before, a few years ago, really actually looked at my finances.
Yeah.
And when I did, excuse me, it was boring. Like, I was talking to people that, quite frankly, it was just boring. They made finances really boring. Like, there were spreadsheets that were boring. Now, spreadsheets can be exciting. They can be creative if you do that. So I had to learn or unlearn all the sort of bad habits
Yeah.
and learn that finances can be creative and they can be fun. And like you said, personal and business, it is linked. And we
Mm,
need to look at both and look at all of that.
that's right. That's right. And make sure that, yeah, we're not sacrificing
Mm.
our lifestyle to keep a business afloat.
Mm.
I want women to have, profitable businesses that last
Mm.
and also help them achieve, the goals in their personal life.
Mm.
Yeah. Something else you said just then that sparked something with me. Oh, it'll come back.
Yeah, it will. I do that. I have sparks of insights and then I spark
While
insights
someone else
again.
is talking, you think, oh,
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah. And was it to do with Excels and being creative?
That's it.
Oh, I'm not psychic, am I?
Well, I think you are.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I I did budgeting the traditional way for most of my life, but I found it didn't work for me because I was sick of, you know, keeping records of every cent I spent and whatever. And that's where this spending plan term
Mm.
comes from. I came across some software that basically replaces the spreadsheet method,
Mm.
and gives you a forward plan to follow, a forecast of your
Oh.
financial position over time. So
Mm.
that made such a huge difference.
Mm.
Um, and I think, yeah, it can be, well, it's viewed traditionally as boring, but
Mm.
it's like, oh, well, and I haven't got time for that.
Mm.
And it's not something that women in business give a priority to. They're worried about sales, they're worried about
Mm.
marketing, they're worried about having a website.
Mhm.
Um, and mistakenly, they think that more money will solve their
Yeah.
problem. And it doesn't.
Yeah, I did think that.
I mean, obviously, it can help.
Yeah.
But if you're not managing your money effectively, more money just means bigger problems.
Mm.
I've had clients who are on, high six-figure incomes who have the same issues as other clients who are, earning $60,000 or $70,000 a year.
Mm.
Um, because I guess it's not about income.
Mm.
It's about what you do with that money
Mm.
and how well you look after it. And, you know, we need to take into account, your personal values and what's important to you
Mm.
because everyone's different.
Mm.
I mean, I've had women who, they won't give up their monthly massage or their, fortnightly manicure for
Mm.
anything.
Mm.
Whereas other clients are willing to sacrifice a whole heap of, nice to have things because they're saving for a home deposit, for example.
Mm.
So, everyone's different, but,
Mm.
I think one tip I can give people is to get really clear on their values,
Mm.
what's important to them, um, whether they want, a lifestyle business or whether they're looking to build an empire. What kind of business do you want, and how much do you want it to pay you? How much do you need it to pay you to cover your
Mm.
lifestyle costs? But then, the aspirational goals as well
Mm.
are important. So, yeah. And also, um, people aren't going to like me for saying this, but set up a separate business bank account, please.
You must be psychic because that was actually going to be my next question. And like I've actually done that. I've got a couple of different bank accounts, but I will actually be adding more because I've been learning things. So when someone is starting out, what are the basic bank accounts that they should have?
Okay. As a bare minimum, I would say, obviously, I've got a structure for personal banking, but we won't go into that. But for the business, they really should have a business bank account where all of their business expenses are paid from,
Mhm.
and their business income can go into that account as well.
Mhm.
They should have a separate account for tax. Now, that may not be necessary in the early stages because there is a tax-free threshold, but ideally that's what you'd be looking to do once you get close to that income threshold, and then regularly transferring money into that tax account. It's hands off. And also a savings buffer, because, as you know, the income ebbs and flows and the expenses don't necessarily go along with those income ebbs and flows. I mean, honestly, you might want to take a couple of weeks off. So it's a really good idea to be putting away money into a savings buffer for those lean times. And, that's a bare minimum, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And it's just, it makes so much sense. And I want to say something which people might sort of think a bit weird, but start putting money away into that tax account from day one. Because when it actually gets to the point, even if it's a dollar.
It can also be used if you don't need it for tax. If it comes tax time and you get your return and it's like, oh, I've got more than enough to pay, you can use it to reinvest back into your business or give yourself a bonus. The other thing that I would encourage you to do right from the get-go is to pay yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, you won't be able to afford to pay yourself a wage, but pay yourself a regular amount. It's only $100 a month, because that forms a really valuable habit that you, as the CEO of your business, are entitled to be paid. And it's usually the last thing that women think about. But it sets up a really good habit so that when your business gets to the stage where it can pay you a wage, you are in the habit of doing that.
Yes, and I
mindset thing too,
Yeah, it is a big mindset thing. And that's the whole thing, is when you start doing that habit, that starts helping your mindset, because it does bring up mindset stuff. I mean, I know that, like being a mindset mentor, but I know that personally from being in business. It's brought up some amazing beliefs and everything that I've been able to work through.
Yes, yeah. And this separating the business from your personal finances also, I think it gives your business a different energy. You're serious. This is a business. It's not all jumbled in together in one bank account. And I think it gives the business an energy of its own,
It does, yeah. And I love how you said that, because I'm so big on business having its own energy. And that actually changed when I decided to actually open a business account. And I've got 3, one where everything goes into and then transfer from there. And that's when things started to change for me. And I started to turn from a hobby into a business.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, wow, things are starting to change. And I mean, I'm far from perfect, but that's okay. I don't care. I'm doing little things as you go. And that's what's so important, that you do that right from the start. So even if you pay yourself, like when money comes in, even if you only take $1 out and put that into the wage, and $1 into tax and that, and then $1 or whatever you need for, all the expenses.
Yes.
Is perfect. Doing that every single time means that money will accumulate. And every time you look at it, you'll be like, oh, that's actually gone up, and it's actually exciting.
Yeah. Small steps make such a big difference over time, and I think that it can make your business life so much easier if you get these foundational things in place. I've worked with women who've been in business for, 10 years or more, and they still haven't separated their personal finances from their business.
Wow.
And it's like, I always say, if the universe can see you're looking after your money, it will send you more.
It does. It does. Yeah, because after for those that not aware, Marlene and I we met up on the Sunshine Coast for a meetup, and we were talking, lots of things, and just even talking about finances and hearing it, I had a message for someone saying, "Is this still available?" because I'm actually looking after my finances, then clients are coming to me.
That's right. That's right. Because we've got a relationship with money, and if we show we care about it and
Mm,
we're good custodians,
mm,
I think we naturally attract more into our lives. I
mm.
really believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, because it's about the energy, and that's,
Yeah.
that's what I'm basically all about, is the energy.
Yeah.
That's me. And, like when I was growing up and even in my career, money wasn't something I thought about. I was like, okay, that much money come in. And so I was the type of person that I would spend the money. I'll
Mm,
actually spend it and I'll be like, oh, now I've got like nothing left.
that's
And
right.
now it's like, well, hang on. And what changed for me was when I left the healthcare field, I had to go on to Centrelink benefits. Now I'm grateful for that. Like
Yeah. I
that's,
did wonder about that, Darlene. I thought, oh, gee, she's given up her career. She's
yeah,
going all in on the business.
yeah. And, and all of that has really helped me to understand so much more about me personally and business. And it actually helped me understand what was important.
Yes.
Because, I would go to the grocery shop and I'd go, well, actually, I've only got this amount of money to spend. So what is important? And it's the
Mm,
same thing with things like clothes and anything. It's like, what is actually really important?
mm.
It's like, do I really need to spend money on clothes when I've actually got enough?
That's right. That's right. And it raises your awareness.
Mhm.
That's what I believe in strongly, that, you need to be conscious
Mhm.
about your spending, aware of where all your money is going, aware of where it's coming from, and, give it a job,
Mm,
purpose,
mm,
because I guess it's human nature. If we're not looking after our money, and say you're in a job and you get a pay rise, it's sort of, oh, yippee to start.
mm.
I've got
Yeah.
whatever it is, $50 a week or
Mm,
$dollars a week. But over time, in the next few months, you find that it's just been absorbed,
mhm,
hasn't made the slightest bit of difference,
mhm.
because we have a tendency to use up the amount of money that's available.
Oh, yep.
Same with time. We use up whatever time's available. If we've only got an hour to do something, we'll do it in an hour.
Mm,
So this awareness, brings, I guess, some power to you,
mm,
and empowering people around their finances is really rewarding,
mm,
because it's great to see people taking control of their lives,
mm.
really, because money gives us the things, we exchange money for all the things that add to our lives. And so if you're looking after your money, you've got more chance of, achieving what you want.
Yeah, and that's so true. And it's as you just said, it's about looking after that money. It's about thinking of it as like another child or a partner or something. Because when you think of it that way, then you go, hang on, if I'm treating my money that way, then how am I actually treating myself? How am I treating my friends? Like it all relates. It all
Exactly.
absolutely relates.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all just exciting to be able to actually look at your finances and look at different things and go, okay. And what I love to do is I love to be creative. How can I make finances creative for me? And
Yeah.
it's about lots of different things. It's about, okay, I would love to get more art supplies. Is that possible? If it's not,
Yes,
okay, then what art supplies have I got? What can I do with them?
that's
Because
right.
do I really need the art
Or can
supplies?
I plan to get those
Mm,
art supplies a little bit further down the track if I
mm,
start squirreling away some money now?
mm,
Um, the other thing that plays with us, I think, too, is just this instant gratification. Like, I want it and I want it now. And, online shopping and all
oh,
that
yes.
certainly doesn't help. I mean, we didn't have to, back when I was,
Yeah.
we didn't have to contend with all of that, and we got paid in cash. So, and there was, well, in the early years of our marriage, we didn't have even credit cards. So, you know, if you have to live on a certain amount of money, you just have to live on the money. And when the cash is gone, that's it. But nowadays, you know, it's just so easy to get credit, to overspend. So it makes it that much harder, I think, for people to manage their money. And unfortunately, a lot of people get into trouble.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm.
and that's one reason I've never gotten a credit card, because
No.
I knew, like, I had the awareness, if I got a credit card, I would actually put myself into just tremendous debt. I
Yeah.
knew I would. So that's why I never even applied for one, even when I had, a good paying job, never, because I just knew that I'd get into trouble. So thankfully I had that awareness.
Yeah, wise decision. You know,
Mm,
if you know yourself, that helps as well.
mm,
Um, I mean, some people, depending on their financial situation, they may need a credit card just to sit there as a backup.
mm,
Something happens and they don't have the capacity to have any emergency savings. But
mm,
again, you have to be really disciplined with it
mm,
if you're going to have one. I mean, I've got one, but I only use it to get the reward points and pay it
mm,
full every month, so it
mm.
doesn't like me. Because credit cards aren't there for us. They're for the banks to make money.
Oh, totally,
Yeah,
totally. It's like anything, it's like a loan and all that kind of stuff. And
exactly.
that's why it's important to work with someone like you, so that you can actually understand all of this as well. Understand, okay, do I need a credit card? What would it actually do for me? How would it actually affect my finances? If
Mm.
credit card and I can't pay that back, what's that actually going to do?
Oh, absolutely. Because a lot of people, they seem to think if they can just pay the minimum payment every month, that, that's okay, that's fine. Just treat it like another bill.
No.
But what they don't realise is that a large proportion of that payment is interest.
Mhm.
And, I did a calculation once on something like a $3,000 credit card debt. If you only pay the minimum payment, and these are generalisations, obviously, but
Mm.
it would take you something like 5 years to pay off $3,000, provided you didn't put anything else onto the credit card in that
Yeah.
5 years. So, I mean, just giving the banks money. And then
Mm.
a lot of people can't even remember
Mm.
what it was that they put on the credit
Yeah.
card to get that debt,
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of it is what I call consumer spending,
Mm.
like takeaways or dinners out and,
Mhm.
that sort of stuff. I mean, you've got nothing to show for it, but you've got this huge debt.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that helped me as well is, I only had a certain amount of money, so takeaways wasn't possible. So
No.
it helped me be creative in the kitchen.
Yes.
It's like, you go in and go, okay,
Yeah.
so if I make one meal, that's about,
Why?
yeah.
Because you had to give that away.
Mm,
It can be sometimes a bit about sacrifice,
mm.
but it's about choosing what you want to sacrifice or what you're
Yeah.
willing to sacrifice if things are tight. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it wasn't actually a sacrifice because I don't really like that word. It was like, what was actually important to me? What did I actually desire? And a lot of time, I didn't really desire the takeaways anyway, because you get it home and you might eat half of it, and you're like, well, then I've got
It's
half.
really a disappointment, I've
Yeah,
found. All the time, you psych yourself up, oh, this is
mm,
going to be great.
yeah,
And then like, oh, okay.
exactly. Yeah. Whereas when you create meals at home, because you've got more money, because takeaways are expensive,
Mm,
you've actually got more money. The meals that you can create are incredible. So I actually learned how to create big meals and freeze them.
yep.
And it's like, whoa, hang on, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, I'm a big advocate of planning your meals,
Mm,
ahead and
mm,
stocking up all the ingredients that you need
mm,
for, the week.
mm.
And then, you're set basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm starting to do because, as Marlene knows, I had to move, and so there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't bring, and a lot of stuff I didn't have anyway. So I'm slowly starting to build things up. So that means, I've got rice, I've got pasta, I've got all of those kind of things
Yeah.
now, and I'm slowly adding so that I've actually got that. So
Yeah.
if it starts to run down, then I'll get a new one, which means I spend less.
Yes, exactly. If you've got those staples there, you're pretty right. You know, and get
Yeah.
some fresh vegetables and fruit and whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've thought of something else I'd like to bring up.
Well, I don't know if you're allowed to.
You'll let me. You'll love. Um, this, I guess, aspiration of the 6 or 7 figure business. I actually sent an email yesterday to my email subscribers about it because it's really something that I get really annoyed about.
Mm.
And it seems to be more and more of an online,
Mm.
how to earn 6 figures, or I can show you how to get to the magical 6 figures. And it just seems to be something that people aspire to.
Mm.
And what I sort of would like to point out is that when most of them, I'm generalizing here probably, but they don't make it clear, when most of them talk about their 6 figure business, it's 6 figures in sales. They're not telling you how much they spent in expenses to get to that 6 figure. So, you could have, I don't know, $150,000 business in sales, but your expenses might be 130. You're doing paid ads, whatever.
Yep.
So therefore, there's only $20,000 profit. Profit is a much better indicator of the health of a business.
Yes.
Sales.
Yep.
And people get so focused on sales, they forget about what it costs to get that income. And they sort of, I think some people tend to overspend trying to get to that sales level. So I think it's something important to keep in mind, not to get, I guess, all starry-eyed by, these people who are earning 6 figures supposedly, because some of them may not. You don't see the side of their business where you're seeing how much they're spending to get there. So you do you. You decide how much is right for you and keep an eye on your expenses.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad you actually brought that up because that is such a thing of mine as well. I can't stand these people and I mean that's my little sort of trigger, but I know of business friends that don't want to earn 6 and 7 figures. And you're right, they're not saying what the profit is.
No.
So I'm in a membership where, and I mean the lady had to get to this point, but she actually shows like this is how much I've earned, but these are all my expenses. So now this is my profit.
Exactly.
And it's like, but I mean, if I did that now, if I turn around and said, well, this is my expenses, this is my profit, people would be like, oh, and it's like, but no, it's really important that you look at all that and you be honest with yourself. Do you want 6 and 7 figures?
And do you really want it? I mean, there's a cost too, not only in expenses, but when you get to that level of income, obviously your expenses grow. More than likely, you're managing team members as well. You're managing paid advertising. You've got bigger responsibility as well with a business like that. And, unfortunately, I have heard of businesses, sprouting the 6 or 7 figure business who actually had a loss, actually spent more than that. So a little bit of honesty or transparency, I guess, is what I'd like to see in the online space, because the people that do this are generally trying to sell you something so that you can get to that level too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for me, what I found is that even if, because I'm in Australia, so even if Australian coaches are saying that, they've actually got American coaches coaching them. I'm finding a lot of this, I don't know what to call it, but a lot of this marketing that's out there is actually coming from Americans. Because I was on a call with, like it was a group call and it was potential to work with this coach. And they said, well, you know, if you haven't got the money, just take a credit card out or a loan.
Okay.
And I'm just like, why would you say something like that to somebody who was actually struggling? You know, there were people
Exactly.
on that call that were
So
struggling.
it's so irresponsible,
Mhm.
unethical,
Mm,
you know, and that coach would have no idea about that person's financial
mhm.
situation. And to put that sort of pressure on them is, you know, it's not good.
No, and I mean, what I felt was the coach didn't care. It's like, well, you know, if you want to be on my program, you'll do whatever you can. It's like, well, in that case, then no.
Yeah, no, I never want to threaten someone's
No,
financial security,
no.
you know, and it has to be, I guess, a decision that the person makes, not with any pressure, um,
Mm,
you know, sales pressure, which, yeah, a lot of that comes from the masculine
mm.
form of selling, I think.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And that's why I'm so glad that I've now got the confidence that even if I have a potential client, if I don't feel right, I'll just turn around and say, look, I don't feel I'm the right person for you. I've actually got some suggestions. So I'm willing to put money, you know, like to not have money come in because I
Mm,
need to work with the right people and the
yeah,
right people need to work with me.
exactly. And I'm the same because, you know, my main program is a 6-month commitment, and
Mm,
you need to be a good fit with your
mm,
client if you're working over that length of time.
mm,
And with something as personal and sensitive as money, it's
mm.
even more important.
Yeah.
You know, they need to trust the confidentiality of their
Mm,
circumstances and feel, I guess, safe
mm.
enough with me about, you know, whatever issues they're facing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And you know, same thing with me because I'm a mindset mentor, so I do take things really deep. And that's why I'm coming back to values, because I did want to talk about that before when you mentioned it. What I've done is I actually, because there's 7 areas of life and finance is one of them. Well, I've now actually got values for each of those parts of my life. So I've actually looked at each of them and gone, well, these actually are my core values, but these are my values in relation to the different areas. And it was
Oh,
just,
that's a good idea.
oh,
Yeah.
it was incredible to look at. And I'm like, whoa, wow, how did that come up? Like, it was just so cool. And what I did is I found a list of values. And I mean, because values is, there's just so many of them, but I found a list that I really liked. I didn't even think about it. I thought, okay, so this is personal. And I just went down the list and went, yes, 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 yes. And like, I mean, I ended up with a lot, but then I started narrowing it down. It
Yes.
was interesting to see the values that related to stuff, including finances. So I
Yeah.
really encourage anyone to go out there and do their values, and you need to redo it because life changes, you know, life.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely. And I think in terms of your finances, it can help you then decide where you want to put your money.
mm,
If you put it in line with those values, you know, it's going to bring you fulfillment and happiness.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah. Thank you, Marlene. Now I honestly could talk forever.
We could, couldn't we?
You're just so easy to talk to. It's like so good. It's like, can we just keep talking? So thank you so much for your time. For anyone watching, please check the description because in there I've got every way that you can find Marlene. So go and I won't say stalk, but go and follow her.
Yeah.
And
Um, if they go to my Instagram account and go to the link in my bio,
mhm.
there's a freebie there, which is a guide for women entrepreneurs in setting up their money stuff the right way from the outset. And it's like a step by step checklist. So that might be useful for people.
Okay, I'm going to go and check that out in a second. It's so cool. I just love all this. So thank you again. Anyone watching, please don't forget to subscribe because then and check the tick box for notifications because you know I'm doing these amazing interviews and I want these people out there. So thank you again, Marlene, and I shall talk to you another time, I'm sure.
No doubt. Thanks again, darling.
You're welcome.